Hey everyone, let's color. Today we're coloring in my brand new published book called It's Easy to Color. And as I promised in the flip through video, I will be coloring every single page in this book and recording it. So for page 1, I already completed this page. And in this video, I will show you how I did it. We'll focus on the color combo that I selected, how to balance colors in a complex composition like this one. And for a bonus feature, we'll do a paper test. I will put this paper through a lot of layers and even mixed media. If you're interested in coloring along with me, this book is available in print. That's the version you're seeing right now. And it's also available as a PDF download. When working in an actual physical book, there's some things that I like to do first. Regardless of paper thickness or quality, I like to take 2 or 3 regular printer pages and place them behind the page that I'm working on. With the pages behind my drawing, now I don't have to worry about applying too much pressure to damage the page underneath, nor do I have to worry about being distracted by seeing any of the other images that follow this page. It's just good practice for any kind of book coloring. The other thing that may come up depends on where in the book you are. My page happens to be towards the end of the book on the thin side, so there isn't that much padding underneath that page. And that sometimes makes coloring a little bit awkward. So what I like to do when I'm coloring towards the end of the book like that is take another book or folder or something like that. We'll just grab one of my other books. And if the thickness matches more or less what I need for my padding, I'm just going to slide that book underneath and all of a sudden my paper is nice and flat. Now this coloring took nearly 5 hours to complete, and I'm going to try to show you the entire process in just under 15 minutes. So obviously we will skip through a lot of parts and I will fast forward through a lot of parts. So for the background, I started with these delicious blues, my Copenhagen blue, light aqua, and not really a blue, but a gray-green light, which is a very pale green that I love to use as a blender pencil. How did I pick these colors? From the very beginning, I had a vision of a general color scheme, and I consulted my color wheel to decide on a color combo that I'm going to stick with for the rest of this project. And the color combo that I settled on is a triadic color combo featuring reddish purples, bluish greens, and yellow oranges. As I'm showing you this sped up process of my coloring, I am also popping up the names of the pencils that I'm using on the left side of the screen. I'm working with Prismacolor pencils. That's what PC stands for. Those are the numbers and the names of the pencils. So if you're at all interested in coloring this page exactly the way that I colored it, you have every single pencil to reference. Though if you know my teachings at all, if you've taken any of my courses in the academy or watched any of my YouTube videos in the past, you know that I don't believe in perfect color matching. I give you these colors just as references. But any one of the effects that I teach can be achieved using any brand of pencils and even using different color application strategies. If you are serious about improving your coloring skills, if you're really into learning new effects, and if you're interested in learning how to make your own artistic decisions to create beautiful works of art, then I invite you to join my How to Use Color Pencils Like a Pro course, which I offer in my private academy called It's Easy to Draw. Follow the link on the screen. Of course, all the links to everything are always in the video description as well. Swing by the academy. It's completely free to join. There are a ton of free preview lessons that you can watch before you decide on which course to join. Here on the background, I'm continuing to work with my blues and notice that I am constantly switching my pencils. If I'm adding a little bit of the dark blue, I immediately come back with my mid-tone blue and do some blending. I was very pleasantly surprised to discover how friendly this paper is for blending. At this point, I'm about an hour and a half to 2 hours into this coloring, and only now am I starting my skin tone. Notice how brave my color choice is. I teach skin tones separately in a course called Skin Tone Mastery. So if you're interested in skin tones and how to make your own color charts for any kind of a skin tone, then definitely consider taking that course. One of the main things that I teach in all of my courses is how to be brave and also how to use our pencils to their full potential or to any degree of their potential. Understanding how pencils work as a tool is a huge part of my teaching and is a huge part of how your art comes across in the end. Because we all use our tools so differently, our art comes out looking differently. And that's exactly why I say that we can't rely on pencil choices and pencil names. Because even if you use every single pencil that I call out, you will probably be using it differently. Not necessarily better or worse, but differently from how I use it because you are your own person with your own habits. So it's not about the pencil that we use or the color that we choose as much as how we apply it. So shading techniques are a huge part of it. Layering is a humongous part of it. Notice how many layers of color I'm adding to every single element. I want her dress to be nearly black and to sparkle. But because my whole composition is in this triadic color combo of reddish purple, greenish blue, and yellow oranges, I am priming the dress very heavily with blues and purples before I add any black. And in the end, it doesn't come across as black, but rather as a midnight blue. And that's a much more attractive look for this composition. Stark black would just stand out too much. It would seem a little bit out of place. For my sparkle, I'm using a regular old white gel pen, but I will be coming in with a different tool later on to make them stand out even more. Fast forward about 3.5 hours into this coloring, you will notice that I've already completed a large part of the background and some of the flowers on the left. And I'm using all the same colors and the same effects for this flower bundle on the right. I started with a nice bubblegum pink for the centers of my flowers. Then I blended with beige, added some fuchsia to the centers to make them pop even more, blended yet again with white, and then brought in some yellow-orange for the tiny detail. I'm going to speed through this stained glass window portion on the bottom because I'm using all the same colors, all the same pencils. There are no new pencils used for this at all. And that's a reoccurring theme in all of my work, and especially in something like this where I'm following a color combo religiously. Use the same pencils, stick to the same pencils, and notice how many of the colors of the effects are repeating. All right, this looks great to me, but like I mentioned, I want to put this paper to the test, so I'm going to add some acrylic paint to it. That's right, good old acrylic paint and a very basic brush. I'm not using any water with my acrylic paint. I am just using it as a dry brush with very small and gentle strokes, cleaning my brush between the applications. And I'm adding my white acrylic paint very generously to the wings, to the hair, and I decided to add a lot of it to the crescent moon that she's sitting on. The little shadow effect that I had going on there is pretty nice, but I decided that I want the center of the moon to actually be pure white. And with my paper being cream, this white is going to stand out in a manner that actually appears as a glow effect. I am also bringing in this white acrylic paint to the dress to go over some of the dots that are my sparkles. This way I have pure white sparkles there. And then I decided that the orange on the inside of the dress is a little bit too stark, a little bit too overwhelming, so I toned that down with acrylic paint as well. I am adding quite a bit of acrylic paint. I'm really laying it on thick. At this point, I had no idea if this was going to work, if the paper is going to handle it, but this is a test. If everything goes horribly wrong, I can always just order another copy of this book and start anew. And in the final 45 minutes of the project, what I did is clean up and balance. I noticed that while my colors are very cool and all the effects are very attractive, there's a very obvious lack of my purple tones on the bottom of the page. So I am very bravely and boldly going over my beautiful stained glass that was all green and yellow. And I'm going over it with strong purple tones. Again, this is super sped up. We're about 12 minutes into this recording, but in reality, I'm coming up on 4.5 hours of the actual project. If you guys are interested in the raw footage of this recording, the full 4.5 or 5 hours of me working on this in real time, showing every single thing that actually happened, I put that recording up for my channel members here on YouTube. It's not subscribers, that's members. Below this video and on the main page of my YouTube channel, you will see a big join button. If you hit it, you can become a channel member. Channel members get special perks like this gift of a full recording showing every single thing that I did, raw, uncut. Some people find it extremely useful. So if you're a member, you already have that waiting for you. If you're not a member, please consider joining. It helps out the channel and I treat my members really well. And the moment of truth, she is done. Let's take away all of our padding and let's see how the paper handled this. Not a blemish. You can't even tell where we used the acrylic paint. You can't tell if we used any pressure. You can't see the colors through the back of the page. There are no wrinkles. The front of the page is very smooth as well. There's a little bit of a reflective sheen from the wax pencils, but honestly, it's even less reflective than it comes out on cardstock paper, which is my favorite loose leaf paper. So I am extremely impressed with how this Amazon print paper handled it. Now I promised you that we'll talk about that color combo, so let's bring in our color wheel. I teach how to use the color wheel in my How to Use Colored Pencils Like a Pro course, so I'm not going to go into any of the details on how to use it. I will simply demonstrate that we've selected our violet red as one of the main colors. This is a triadic color combo, so actually all three of them are main colors. And the two matching colors to that are blue-green and yellow-orange. And we have both of those featured. We don't actually have anything else on this page. So there you have it. We have many more pages to go through. This is just 1 out of 50. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you give this coloring a try. Remember to grab your copy of It's Easy to Color. Thank you so much, you guys. Happy coloring, and I'll see you later.